Obsession with true crime ends in murder. The story of Jung Yoo-jung. In the dark depths of Busan, South Korea, a sinister plot unfolded, driven by an insatiable thirst for the perfect crime. Through a web of deception, an unsuspecting victim would be stabbed to death in her home by a complete stranger. The home, once a quiet sanctuary, transformed into a chamber of brutality in an instant. The walls were adorned with blood, and in the eerie silence, a lifeless body lay frozen on the floor. The victim was mutilated before parts of her body were callously discarded. Questions loomed. Who would possibly be capable of such a crime so heinous? And perhaps more disturbingly, why? The reality was that this murder was no mere coincidence. The victim had been carefully selected and targeted by an individual who possessed a chilling determination and a twisted urge to kill. Please be advised that the following video contains graphic depictions of violence. Viewer discretion is advised. Background. Situated on the southeastern coast of South Korea, Busan sits as one of the country's most vibrant cities. As the second largest city in South Korea, Busan boasts rich cultural heritage, stunning beaches, and markets that draw both locals and tourists. One of Busan's prominent features is its breathtaking coastline and picturesque beaches. Renowned for its bustling markets, visitors come from all corners of the world to immerse themselves in the local culture. Like any other major city, Busan has its fair share of crime, but has maintained a reputation as a safe city with a low crime rate compared to other cities around the world. The local government and law enforcement agencies in Busan prioritize public safety and work diligently to maintain a secure environment. For residents of Busan, this instilled a sense of confidence and safety, a safety that would be shattered when a brutal crime sent shockwaves through the community. It was in the city of Busan that 23-year-old Jung Yoo-jung spent her days in the confines of her home. It was also where, behind closed doors, an unfathomable crime was beginning to take shape. Jung Yoo-jung's past was a tumultuous one. From an early age, she experienced the pain of first being abandoned by her mother, then again by her father at the age of 6, before being primarily cared for by her grandfather. The emotional wounds of that troubled upbringing surely festered, fueling a simmering rage and resentment that only grew over the years. However, those dark feelings extended far beyond the boundaries of familial discord and childhood abandonment. Having failed to pursue her further education after high school, Jung wandered through life untethered. She found solace in isolation and withdrawal. In countries like South Korea or Japan, where academic and societal expectations can weigh so heavily, Jung's lack of further education or employment likely felt like an immeasurable failure. With no friends and seemingly no job or educational pursuits, Jung became a recluse, living out her days in the privacy of her own room. It's common for young people to turn to excessive internet use and video games in their seclusion, but Jung had a different interest altogether: true crime. In recent years, there has been a noticeable surge in the fascination with true crime, captivating the interest of individuals across various demographics. Even you, watching this video, clicked on it because there is something about true crime that provides a glimpse into the dark corners of the human psyche. But what began as a mere fascination for Jung quickly transformed into an obsessive fixation. Hours upon hours were consumed by the twisted narratives of true crime. She began binge-watching true crime shows and obsessively read over crime books. This provided the fuel to stoke the flames of her own sinister desires. The allure of violence and death planted the seeds, and soon a yearning to experience this violence firsthand took hold of her. Murder. Driven by her insatiable quest for the perfect murder, Jung wove a web of lies and deception to find the right victim. In the months prior, she had been carefully researching all that she could about true crime, even scouring the internet for ways to conceal a body. Through the use of an app that connects parents with tutors for their children, Jung began to swipe through profile after profile under the guise of a concerned mother seeking an English tutor for her fictitious 9th-grade daughter. Jung sifted through dozens of tutors on the app, searching for the ideal victim, until finally she found one. A young 20-something-year-old woman. The woman was academically accomplished and from a prestigious university. More importantly, she lived alone. Jung made contact with the woman 2 days before the violent murder. She posed as a mother and made an appointment for her alleged daughter, arranging to meet at the victim's home. On May 26, 2023, Jung put on a school uniform she acquired from an online flea market, disguising herself as a seemingly innocent middle school student seeking tutoring. Her short stature and the school uniform added a chilling authenticity to her performance. CCTV footage would capture Jung walking to the victim's home with a suitcase trailing behind her. She seemed calm, even eager to get to her destination. The victim, who remains unidentified, couldn't have known that opening the door would be inviting in a monster. Jung stepped into the victim's home, her disturbing intentions hidden beneath her youthful guise. With ruthless determination, she unleashed an onslaught of violence, stabbing the helpless victim over 100 times, mercilessly inflicting injury even after the victim lay dead on the floor of her own home. Seeking to hide the evidence of her heinous act, Jung bought bleach and trash bags from the store nearby. When she returned to the scene of her own crime, she took things a step further and began dismembering the lifeless body before collecting the victim's personal belongings, including her ID, her phone, and her wallet. Yet, even the most meticulous plans can be marred by a single misstep. Jung's fatal error came in the form of a taxi ride, where the watchful eyes of a vigilant driver bore witness to her late-night disposal of blood-soaked suitcases in the desolate woods. The taxi driver wasted no time in alerting authorities, setting in motion a chain of events that would unravel in the South Korean spotlight. Arrest. With the taxi driver's help, authorities were led to the discarded luggage, where they were shocked to discover blood-soaked clothing and body parts. They took Jung in for questioning, and at first, Jung denied any involvement. Then, she told authorities that the murder was an accident after she and the victim had an argument. But a search of Jung's residence said otherwise when investigators uncovered a damning trove of evidence. Among the remnants of her disturbing psyche lay the victim's phone, ID, and wallet, and additional human remains. It remains to be seen whether taking the victim's personal belongings was to give the illusion of a disappearance, or if Jung had made the decision that many killers before her have made and took those items as trophies. There was no question that Jung was guilty of the crime she was being accused of, and CCTV footage would leave no room for doubt. With the evidence mounting and pressure from authorities, as well as her own family, Jung confessed to what law enforcement already knew. Jung Yoo-jung was a cold-blooded murderer. She was swiftly arrested, and investigators began to put the pieces of this disjointed puzzle together. They learned that before the crime, Jung had spent months researching murder and true crime, and at one point had even searched for family member murders on her phone. Jung had also expressed her fascination with violence to her father in a chilling phone call. As the media caught wind of this shocking story in Busan, cameras flocked to the busy city to try and capture glimpses of the killer. Unlike most violent crimes, Jung was a young woman with no history of violence. It was a captivating story because Jung was not only an anomaly, but her motives were entirely unknown. Speculation surrounding the motives driving Jung Yoo-jung's descent into darkness continues to perplex those seeking answers. Some attribute her actions to the insidious influence of her obsession with true crime, while others point to the scars left by her painful childhood and failures as a functioning adult in today's society. Forensic psychologists in South Korea have suggested that one clue can be found in the victim. Jung's victim was of a similar age. She had social status and academic achievements that Jung had never been able to reach. In many ways, the victim likely mirrored what Jung wished she was, and some could argue that it was these feelings of envy and jealousy that pushed her over the edge. But the most poignant clue about why Jung could have committed such an inhumane crime lies in her actions prior to the murder. Everything was planned for months in advance. The absence of remorse and her disturbing lack of empathy are all hallmarks of psychopathy. Initial assessments place her psychopath index at a staggering 28 points, surpassing even the notorious serial killer Kang Ho-soon. It's possible that the motive was simple because she wanted to, and she felt no guilt for the pain she would inevitably cause. On June 9th, Jung made a public appearance before the press, concealing her face with a bucket hat and mask. Exiting the Busan Dongnae Police Precinct, she addressed reporters, expressing what many believe to be fake remorse and extending an apology to the victim and her grieving family.
살인 충동을 혹시 언제부터 느끼신 걸까요?
피해자는 유가족께 할 말 없습니까?
피해자와 유가족분들에게 저는 진심으로 죄송합니다.
살해 후에 여러 차례 집을 오가셨는데 혹시 이유가 있었을까요?
실종 사건으로 위장하려고 했습니까?
제정신이 아니었던 것 같습니다. 죄송합니다.
I apologize to the victim and her family. I must have been out of my mind, she uttered. Jung Yoo-jung's upcoming trial is scheduled to commence on July 14th, 2023, at the Busan District Court. Meanwhile, she resides in solitary confinement within the confines of the Busan Detention Center, her presence serving as a chilling reminder of the depths to which humanity can sink. The revelations of Jung's heinous act sent shockwaves to South Korea, a nation unaccustomed to such calculated and cold-blooded crimes. In the face of this unfathomable darkness, the search for understanding can only scratch the surface of the killer's mind. The true motives and depths of her malevolence lie locked within the recesses of her own psyche, a tragic reminder that darkness can emerge from the most unexpected corners of our existence.